Welcome. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Thank you. And we have a little housekeeping to do because in trying to figure out the menorah and the various parts that Rashi talked about, I was having some difficulty, and I went over these things again, and I believe I have them fairly decently worked out now. So let me see if I can find the picture that I want. That's the only thing. Let's see. I may have to go in here because this is not, let's see if it's in here. Menorah detail. Well, that could do it. All right, that's not I don't think that's the picture I want. No, it is not really, but it does do it. Remember, I had that other picture from that book. I'm assuming you can see a picture that says the menorah detail, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. So we'll go back to, let's see if I can go back to Rashi in a second. That's not what I want. There we are. So we said that there were Tish'a Prachim. There are 9 flowers, Hayula, that the menorah had 9 flowers. Avav l'sheshet hakanim, 6 for the 6 branches. Shneimar b'kaneh ha'echad, because it mentions regarding each single branch, kaftor v'aferach, a button, right, a knob, and a flower. V'shalosh lemenorah, and 3 for the menorah itself, that is the stand itself. Shneimar meshukadim kaftorha, because it says its knobs were surrounded by these almond flowers. Ufracheha, in other words, right, that it's flowers. Umiut prachim, and the minimum amount for a plurality shnayim is 2. The echad ha'amur, and there's one mention, the Parshat Bahalotcha, in the Parsha of Bahalotcha in the book of Numbers, ad yerecha ad pircha, which says to its base, to its flowers. Okay. So let's see what I can do here. I'm going to try and see if I can find what I'm looking for. This could give it to me. Let's just see here. So unfortunately, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so we'll have to just go to, the picture that I had before. No, maybe this is it. Yep, this is it. This is the one I wanted. There we go. Love this example. What's he talking about? He's talking about this here. And let's see if I can do this. There we go. I discovered this, that there's a magnifying glass here. And if you look carefully, because I can't move my cursor, but if you look right underneath the cup and at the top of the 3 flowers, do you see the knob and the flower surrounding it? And that's what he's talking about. So there's 6 of them, right? 6 on the branches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. And then there's one right here. There's one right here. And there's one right here. That's what he's referring to. And that's how you get 9. So that is how you get the 9. Okay? So let's go back in here. And now we can go on. So now that took care of that, because I did not give you a clear answer yesterday. So going on with the text itself, verse 39, Kikar Zahav Tahor Ya'aseh Ota. He should make it out of a talent of pure gold. Et kol hachelim ha'ele. All these vessels that are mentioned. So, Kikar, here we go, Rashi, Kikar Zahav Tahor, a talent of pure gold, Shelo yeh mishkala im kol keilaha, that its weight with all of its vessels, in other words, of the menorah and all its accompanying vessels, ela kikar, right? It all had to come to 1 talent. That is, with the tweezers and with the snufters and all the shovels, etc. which we mentioned yesterday, had to come to 1 talent, lo pachot velo yoter, not more, not less, not more, exactly 1 talent. V'hakikar, and as for the talent itself, shel chol, a regular kikar, shishim maneh, is 60 manehs. We'll discuss. A maneh actually is 100 shekels. Okay, so a regular kikar is 60 maneh, v'shel kodesh, but the holy kikar, he kaful, is double that amount. Kuf chaf, 120 maneh. It's 120 maneh. V'hameneh, and as for the maneh itself, hu litra, that is the equivalent to a litra, that is a Roman liter or a libra, which is a pound. Shoklin ba kesef lemishkal kolonia, that they weigh out silver in according to the weights of cologne, or the scale of cologne. Vehem kuf zehuvim, and each maneh, remember, 100 gold pieces. Those are dinars. Kuf heslaim, that is 25 selas. So a dinar is 25 selas. V'hasela arba'a zehuvim, and the sela is 4 gold pieces. So sorry, that must be the same thing, right? So a dinar is 25 slaim. Well, that's what it is. Right. So a maneh is 100 dinars. 100 dinars. Okay. I hope that's relatively clear anyway. Going on. Ur'e v'aseh b'tavnitam, and look and make it, right? B'tavnitam, according to its shape, or according to their shape. Asher atam or in other words, so shapes would be the shape of the menorah, the shape of the tweezers, the shape of the shovels, right? Asher ata mor'eh, which you are shown, bahar, in the mountain. In other words, on Mount Sinai. So remember, I had mentioned how Moses himself was having difficulty visualizing the menorah. Or Ev Aseh, and look and make. Ra'eh kan bahar. So I think Rashi is simply interpolating what's going on. He says, look here, bahar, on the mountaintop, tavnit shani mar'eotcha, at the shape that I am showing you, or the model that I am showing you. This is God speaking to Moses, right? Magid, and this informs us, Shenit Kasher Moshe, that Moses was having difficulty, b'maaseh menorah, in the fabrication of the menorah. Ad sheher alu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, until the Holy One, blessed be He, showed him menorah shel esh. He showed him a picture of the menorah in fire. So he saw this, I'd love to say, this laser shot of the menorah. Asher atam mor'eh. So here's the point in which you are shown. Ketargumo, and this is, in other words, just as the Aramaic, as Onkelos translates it, di'at mitchazi betura, that you are shown on the mountain. And Rashi goes on to say, ilu haya nakud mar'eh bepatach, if this word mar'eh, here it is, simply with the letters, where it pointed with a patach, in other words, mar'eh, there was the one horizontal line under the word, under the mem, right? It's not a patach, it's a kamatz. Notice that, right? So it's not mar'eh, it's mor'eh, mor'eh. And Rashi's going to tell you that that makes it passive. In other words, it's not which you show, but which you are shown. It's passive, right? So if it had been pointed with a patach, haya pitrono, we would explain this word mar'eh, Ata mar'eh la'acherim. You show it to others. You will show it to others. Achshav shinakud b'chatav kamatz. But now that it is pointed with a short kamatz, right? Pitrono. In other words, a kamatz that it's called a kamatz katan in modern Hebrew grammar. In other words, and it's pronounced or more. Pitrono de at mitchazeh. And this is to say the Aramaic, right? So what it means is that you are shown she'acherim marim lacha, that other people show you. Shanikud mafrid bein oseh lene'esa, because how it's pointed makes a distinction between one who does, who's active, lene'esa, to the one who is passive. So how it is, in other words, so the tradition of how these words are pronounced is significant. But now we go on to a different subject, and so I'll just do the Hebrew, and then I'm going to show you some pictures. The et hamishkan ta'aseh, see there's ta'aseh, right? And the mishkan, the tabernacle, you shall make, right? Eser yeriot, 10 curtains. Shesh moshar, twisted linen, utchelet, and blue, for argaman, and purple, the tola'at shani, and crimson, and I believe shani is like it's shani and crimson yarns. Kruvim ma'aseh choshev, they should depict cherubim that are done done skillfully. Ta'aseh otam, you shall make them. So before we take a look at the Rashi, let me see if I can show you here. I think this is what I want to show you. There we are. So this is what we're referring to here, are these, and I'm going to show you here they are. Another picture of them. They are the cherubim, by the way. See that? And look carefully at it. Do this. Okay. And there's another picture of it. You can see we're going to be told there's going to be 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? And then they're all connected. They're sewn together. And then another 5 that are sewn together. And then you'll see an early type of zipper, right? And then the next picture shows you how they cover the tabernacle, right? So they covered the tabernacle. And interestingly enough, you see this here, this separates the Holy of Holies from the holy part of the tabernacle. And right there is a partition, right underneath there is a partition. Show you, let's see. Okay, that's something else going on. So let me go back now and let's take a look at the text. Let's see. All right. I actually want to start up here in the Rashi. Let's see, I believe. Okay. Right, here we are. Ve'et hamishkan taseh eseriot, and you shall make the mishkan 10 curtains. Lihiyot lo lagag, to serve as a roof, ulemechitzot michutz lakrashim, and as coverings on the outside of the boards. Hayeriot kluyot me'achorehen lachasoton, the shehayeriot, because the curtains are hung behind them to cover them. So the boards are then the solid part of the tabernacle, and then over them are placed these curtains. And as you could see, I'll show you again in a moment. Shesh moshzar, right? So twisted linen, utchelet, and blue, for argaman, and purple for tolat shani, and crimson. Hare arba'a minim yachad. So in other words, each thread from which they wove this curtain was made out of four different types of material. B'chol chut v'chut, in each and every thread, echad shel tishtim, one thread was made out of linen, v'shalosh shel tzemer, and three of wool that were twisted together. So just before I go on with this, you know that there is a prohibition for us to put wool and linen in our garments, except when it comes to our talit. And the idea is that this combination is associated with something very, very holy. And so it seems to me, at least on a superficial level, that the prohibition against the blend of wool and linen is for us to be respectful, to show tremendous respect for the sovereignty of God's palace, you might say, right, of God's house, that we don't make our own house in the same way. And there are other examples. For example, compounding the incense, you are not allowed to use it for yourself. So again, these are all things that tend to emphasize and give a real sense of the holiness of the divine. Goes on, v'kol chut v'chut, and each and every thread, kaful shisha, is doubled 6, right? So there's 6 of each type. Hare alba minim, so we've got the 4 different kinds of thread, kishehem shazurim yachad, when they're all twisted together to make that thread from which we're going to weave these curtains. Kaf daled, kfalim lechut, 24 doubled up threads for each thread. And he gives you the source of this. It's a baraita, which means it's like from the 2nd century or before the 2nd century, I would say, to Melechet HaMishkan, regarding the construction of the tabernacle. Kruvim ma'aseh choshev, when it says cherubim that are fabricated very wisely, I guess, or skillfully woven in this case. But it says maaseh would be done, skillfully done. So what does that mean specifically? Let me just go make the page a little bit, if I can, make the page a little smaller. I'm trying, but I guess there's not enough electricity in my fingers. I'm trying to, keeping on, okay. Okay, there we are. Huh, then it went again. All right. Find the place. Sorry about that. There we go. It's just jumping around. Okay, here we go. Kruvim hayu. Now it's not, okay. So sorry. I'm just having issues here. And for some reason, it's not showing my cursor anymore. Let's see if it's another. Oh, there we go. You can see it now. Kruvim hayu mitsuyarim bahem. There were cherubim that were literally, it means to like figuring or to be drawn in them, right? Drawn in them, but arigatam, in the weave, right? So they were actually woven in a way so that you could see the cherubim in them. Velo berikima, but they were not done with embroidery. Shehuma semachat, that is fabricated with a needle. Ela ba'ariga, but only in the weave itself. Bishnei kotlim, on either side. Partzuf echad mikan. So one drawing, or one literally partzuf is translated as a face on one side, or partzuf echad mikan, and another face on the other side. Ari mitzad zeh. So on one side there was, forgive me, I'm going to have to put in my battery. Let's see what's going on here. So sorry. Okay. So there was a lion on one side and an eagle on the other side. Give me one moment. So sorry. Okay. Sometimes I feel there's a sense of humor, a divine sense of humor at work, right? That's an eagle on the other side. Kamash or gin chagurot shelmeshi, as they weave, a chagura is like a sash, something like that, right? Of silk, shekorin belaz, which is called in French, right? Faise, something like that. Gewirkt, worked would be the German. Let's take a look at those pictures again. So here, this is the cherub. I don't know if he's going to show you, but you can see how he's trying to weave it, make it part of the weave. Of course, this is a model, so it's very small, and so it's just very roughly made. But I don't think we're going to see the eagle on the other side. Let's see what it looks like. These are all cherubim. So this is you're going to see that there are actually layers, right? Layers of cloth. And we're talking about this initial layer, and we'll get to these other layers as well. Interesting symbolism, and in as much as the tabernacle and the temple represent the human body, is this like the skin of it? At any rate, all right. So let's keep going here. Okay. Now we get the dimensions. Orech hayeri'ah ha'achat, the length of one single curtain, shmone ve'esrim ba'amah, is 28 and 20 cubits. Ve'rochav arba ba'amah, and its width was 4 cubits. Hayeri'ah ha'achat, one single curtain. So again, going back in here, right? So this is 24. And this is 4. This is 4. And I'll try and explain in a moment. Okay. Let's take a look. Mida achat lachol ha'yiriyot. Each curtain should measure exactly the same. There's just one measurement for each of the curtains. So I'll go to this picture, although we'll get better pictures at another time. Actually, this will show it pretty well. Let me show you this. So you see how they're hanging, right? So essentially, if you figure it out, there is 10 cubits from this interior wall to this interior wall. From the best I can tell, this is half a cubit, right? So this is an additional cubit, I believe. Let me think. So maybe these are each a cubit. So that's 12. So the distance from here, if these are each a cubit, there's a distance of 12 cubits from this point to this point, right? And then these are 10 cubits high, I believe, right? So if this is 28, right? 28. So we've got 12 from 28, 24, excuse me. 12, well, boy, my memory, right? Isn't that something? 28. So 12 from 28 leaves 16, which means there's now a hanging of 16 of 8 cubits on either side that are going to hang over. And so this distance is 2 cubits here. That's how this is going to work out. Okay. Let's see if there's a one. Okay, let's stop here for now. I think this is a good place to stop. And we'll pick this up, God willing, tomorrow on the curtains of the tabernacle. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to stop the share. Any comments on this at this point?
Yeah,
All right.
what is a talent, and how many shekels are in a talent?
So I guess we could try and figure it out. I think he said there were 120 maneh, and if a maneh is 100, so that would that not be 12,000?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
12,000
So
shekels.
that's a lot of money.
Well, it's a lot of, it's heavy, but remember, gold is very heavy. So, and we're talking about weights here. We're talking
Oh,
about,
they weigh the gold. I
yes,
see.
that's how they figure out the value of it, is by weighing the metal.
I
The,
see.
yeah, in fact, the terminology for the particular denominations of coins is actually very often they are weights, the weight of the coin.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what in ancient days they did
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. And that's how they would figure it out. I mean, they had worked out ways to cost or to dye, to imprint the coin, but presumably the imprint was telling you the weight of the coin. Oh, and by the way, the fact that the coins, I don't know about little ones, but larger value coins have those ridges on the sides of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Reason they have the ridges of the sides of them is to show if the coin has been shaved, because sometimes people would shave the sides of the coin to get the metal as well, so that the value of the coin was actually less than what it was supposed to be. And the reason they put those ridges on the side was to prevent people from shaving the coins and getting the metal themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, well, on the dyeing of the linen,
Yes.
do they use those little animals to dye the linen? Where do they
Oh,
get
I
the
see
dye
what
from?
you're saying. It could be that that the purple was
And the
the
crimson.
or the tchelet, yeah, because it's called tchelet, right?
Too.
Okay, that's actually a blue. If it mentions a blue, purple, and crimson yarns,
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I want to know. Where you get the blue, purple, and crimson
yeah, yeah.
from
But
animals? They get it from
well,
animals.
I think the tchelet would have been from this murex shell, I guess, but I'm sure they had other ways to dye that came from vegetables and from plants and things as well. I just don't have it, I don't have deep knowledge about where these colors came from, but I'm sure that there are sources that tell you where they got these colors from. It's quite probable that in the Talmud they mention these things. I'm going to stop the recording.